What if I told you that the greatest obstacle standing between you and the life you dream of has never been the world, but the mind you wake up with every morning? Master that one battlefield, and you change everything else. Most people spend their entire lives trying to change their circumstances. They search for better jobs, stronger relationships, more money, or greater opportunities, believing these things will finally give them peace. Yet no matter where they go or what they achieve, they often carry the same fears, the same doubts, and the same emptiness with them. The reason is simple. You can change your environment 100 times, but if your mind remains the same, your life will quietly return to the same patterns. Human psychology teaches a powerful truth. Every action begins as a thought. Every habit begins as a repeated decision. Every destiny begins as a belief about who you are. Long before success or failure becomes visible in your life, it has already taken shape inside your mind. This is why two people can face the same challenge and produce completely different outcomes. The difference is rarely the obstacle itself. It is the mindset each person brings to it. Your mind is like a garden. If you neglect it, weeds will grow without permission. Fear, comparison, doubt, resentment, and excuses require no effort to appear. They quietly take root until they begin controlling the way you see yourself and the world. But wisdom, discipline, courage, and confidence must be intentionally planted and consistently protected. The quality of your life will always reflect the quality of the thoughts you cultivate every day. Many people unknowingly become prisoners of their own thinking. They replay old failures until they believe they are incapable of succeeding. They compare themselves with others until they forget their own potential. They allow temporary setbacks to become permanent identities. Eventually, they stop trying, not because they lack ability, but because their own mind has convinced them that nothing will ever change. The strongest individuals understand something different. They refuse to believe every thought that enters their mind. They recognize that the voice of fear is not always the voice of truth. They question limiting beliefs instead of obeying them. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen their character rather than weaken their confidence. Instead of asking, "Why is life against me?" they begin asking, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" That single change transforms suffering into wisdom. Real strength is not measured by how many battles you win against other people. It is measured by how often you refuse to surrender to the weaker version of yourself. Every morning you choose discipline over comfort, responsibility over excuses, and growth over fear. You quietly reshape your future. These choices may seem invisible today, but over time they build an identity that no obstacle can easily break. Never underestimate the conversations you have with yourself. They become the foundation of every decision you make. A disciplined mind creates disciplined actions. A peaceful mind creates wise decisions. A courageous mind creates extraordinary opportunities. Before the world believes in you, you must first train your own mind to believe that change is possible, because the greatest victory you will ever achieve is not conquering the world. It is mastering the mind that creates your world. After mastering your mind, the next lesson changes the direction of your entire life. Most people believe they are searching for happiness, but if you look closely, happiness has always been temporary. It arrives with success, with praise, with achievement, or with comfort. Then, just as quickly, it disappears. This is why so many people spend years chasing one exciting moment after another, only to discover that the feeling never lasts. They mistake temporary pleasure for a meaningful life, and when the excitement fades, they find themselves searching all over again. Human psychology is designed to adapt. What once felt extraordinary eventually becomes ordinary. The new car becomes just another vehicle. The promotion becomes another responsibility. The dream house becomes another routine. This is not because these things have no value. It is because the mind constantly adjusts to what it already has. If your life is built only around chasing happiness, you will always feel as though something is missing. No matter how much you achieve, purpose works differently. Unlike happiness, purpose does not depend on perfect circumstances or pleasant emotions. It gives you a reason to keep moving even on the days when motivation disappears. A person driven by purpose wakes up with direction. They understand that some days will be difficult, some victories will be delayed, and some sacrifices will feel uncomfortable. Yet they continue because their reason for living is greater than their temporary feelings. Think about a tree growing through a storm. It does not ask whether the weather is pleasant before continuing to grow. It simply follows its nature. Human beings become stronger in the same way. The people who accomplish extraordinary things are rarely the happiest every single day. They simply remain committed to something that matters more than comfort. Their purpose carries them through moments when happiness alone would have failed. Many people avoid responsibility because they believe responsibility steals freedom. In reality, meaningful responsibility creates freedom. When you take responsibility for your health, your finances, your relationships, and your character, your life becomes more stable. Discipline may feel difficult in the beginning, but it produces peace in the future. Comfort may feel pleasant today, but it often creates regret tomorrow. The direction you choose every day quietly determines the life you will eventually live. Purpose also protects you from becoming controlled by other people's opinions. When you know why you are walking your path, you stop changing direction every time someone criticizes you or refuses to understand your vision. Your energy becomes focused instead of scattered. You waste less time proving yourself and more time becoming yourself. The strongest people are not those who smile every moment. They are the ones who continue building, learning, and serving, even when life becomes uncertain. They understand that happiness is a visitor, but purpose is a companion that remains through every season. It transforms pain into lessons, obstacles into opportunities, and ordinary days into meaningful progress. Because the moment your purpose becomes greater than your comfort is the moment your life begins moving toward lasting fulfillment. Once your life is guided by purpose instead of temporary happiness, another lesson quietly transforms the way you see yourself. It is the moment you stop allowing other people's opinions to define your worth. Many people never truly live their own lives because they spend every day trying to satisfy someone else's expectations. They choose careers to impress others, hide their true personality to gain acceptance, and silence their dreams out of fear of criticism. Without realizing it, they become strangers to themselves while trying to be accepted by everyone else. Human psychology has a deep desire to belong. From childhood, we naturally seek approval because acceptance once meant safety and survival. But as adults, this same instinct can become a prison. The fear of being judged often becomes stronger than the desire to become our authentic selves. People begin asking, "What will others think?" before asking, "Is this the life I truly want?" And every time they choose approval over authenticity, they slowly lose another piece of their identity. The truth is that no matter how carefully you live, someone will misunderstand you. Some people will criticize your ambition because it reminds them of their own excuses. Others will question your decisions simply because they would never have the courage to make them. If you spend your life trying to satisfy every opinion, you will constantly change direction and never discover who you were meant to become. Imagine a ship crossing the ocean. If it changed its course every time the wind shifted, it would never reach its destination. A wise captain adjusts the sails but never abandons the destination. Life demands the same wisdom. Listen to advice, learn from experience, and remain humble, but never surrender your purpose simply because someone else cannot see your vision. Their inability to understand your path does not mean your path is wrong. One of the greatest signs of maturity is becoming comfortable with being misunderstood. This does not mean becoming arrogant or refusing to learn from others. It means understanding that your peace cannot depend on universal approval. Some people will admire you, some will ignore you, and some will criticize you. None of these reactions change your true value. Your character is not measured by applause. It is measured by the integrity you maintain when no one is watching. The strongest people build their confidence from within. They keep promises to themselves. They remain disciplined even when nobody notices. They continue growing without needing constant recognition. Their self-respect is earned through action, not compliments. This quiet confidence becomes something that no criticism can easily destroy because it was never built on other people's opinions in the first place. Ironically, the moment you stop seeking validation is often the moment you begin earning genuine respect. Human psychology naturally admires people who remain authentic despite pressure. There is something powerful about a person who walks their own path with humility, courage, and calm certainty. They no longer waste energy proving their worth because they have already accepted it themselves. Because the day you stop living for other people's approval is the day you finally begin living your own life. After you stop living for other people's approval, another life lesson begins to reveal itself. Your future is not shaped by one extraordinary decision. It is quietly built by the ordinary choices you make every single day. Many people spend years waiting for one dramatic opportunity that will completely transform their lives. They believe success arrives through one lucky break, one perfect moment, or one life-changing event. But human psychology tells a different story. The person you become tomorrow is already being created by the habits you repeat today. Think about a sculptor standing before a block of stone. No single strike of the hammer creates the masterpiece. It is thousands of careful movements, repeated with patience and intention, that slowly reveal the figure hidden inside. Life works the same way. One disciplined morning may seem insignificant. One healthy meal may appear unimportant. One page of a book may not seem enough, but repeated over months and years, these small decisions quietly reshape your identity. The human mind naturally underestimates gradual change. Because progress is often invisible from one day to the next, many people become discouraged and quit too early. They expect immediate results, and when they do not see them, they return to old habits. Yet the greatest transformations are rarely dramatic. They happen so slowly that you only recognize them when you compare who you are today with who you were a year ago. This is why habits are more powerful than motivation. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls with circumstances. Some mornings you feel inspired while other mornings you do not. If your life depends on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline, however, does not ask how you feel. It simply reminds you of who you decided to become. Every time you act according to your values instead of your emotions, you strengthen your character. Many people fail not because they make one terrible decision, but because they make hundreds of small careless ones. A few minutes wasted each day become years of lost opportunity. A single excuse repeated often enough becomes a permanent limitation. Likewise, one positive decision repeated consistently becomes extraordinary success. Great lives are not built through occasional brilliance. They are built through ordinary excellence practiced every day. Imagine two paths through a forest. At the beginning, they seem almost identical. After walking them for miles, however, they lead to completely different destinations. Small choices work exactly the same way. The decision to learn instead of scrolling endlessly, to exercise instead of postponing, to forgive instead of holding resentment, or to remain disciplined instead of giving in to comfort may appear insignificant today. Yet these tiny choices quietly determine the direction of your entire life. Never underestimate the power of consistency. Every action becomes a vote for the person you are becoming. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens your confidence. Every disciplined choice teaches your mind that growth is possible. Over time, your habits stop feeling like effort and become part of your identity. That is when real transformation begins. Not because your life suddenly changed overnight, but because you refuse to stop improving one day at a time. Because the future you dream about is nothing more than today's small decisions repeated with unwavering discipline. After learning that your daily choices shape your future, one final habit becomes essential: learning to let go. Many people remain trapped not because life refuses to move forward, but because they refuse to release what no longer belongs in it. They carry old failures, broken relationships, resentment, regret, and endless comparisons as if these burdens somehow protect them. In reality, they only slow the journey ahead. Human psychology naturally holds on to what is familiar, even when it causes pain. The unknown feels frightening while the past feels predictable. But growth has never existed inside comfort. Every meaningful chapter of your life begins with the courage to leave another chapter behind. You cannot hold tomorrow with both hands if they are still tightly gripping yesterday. The strongest people are not those who never experience loss. They are the ones who learn the lesson, accept reality, and continue walking without allowing the past to become their permanent identity. They understand that every ending creates space for a new beginning, and every setback carries wisdom that can strengthen the future. Life becomes lighter the moment you stop asking why something ended and start asking what it came to teach you. That single shift transforms pain into growth and regret into experience. Because the faster you release what no longer serves you, the faster life makes room for what truly belongs to you. In the end, after all the lessons, successes, failures, victories, and disappointments, life leaves you with one final truth. The greatest achievement is not becoming better than other people. It is become better than the person you were yesterday. Everything you have learned means very little if it remains only knowledge. Wisdom begins the moment those lessons become the way you think, the way you act, and the way you live every single day. Human psychology often convinces us that happiness lies somewhere in the future. We tell ourselves that life will finally begin when we become richer, more successful, or more admired. But the deepest transformation never arrives through changing your circumstances alone. It arrives when you master your own thoughts, emotions, habits, and character. The person who governs themselves cannot easily be controlled by fear, failure, praise, or criticism. Every challenge you face will either become a burden or a teacher. Every setback will either strengthen your character or weaken your resolve. The choice has always belonged to you. Life never promises comfort, but it always offers an opportunity to grow. Those who accept every experience as a lesson continue evolving long after others have stopped trying. Never stop learning. Never stop questioning yourself. Never become so comfortable that you forget there is always another level of wisdom waiting beyond your current understanding. The greatest investment you will ever make is the one you make in your own character, because everything else can be taken away, but the person you become will always remain with you, because the greatest life lesson of all is that when you master yourself, you gain the strength to master whatever life places in your path.